You ever have that moment, you're looking back on things and it just clicks? That person you thought was cheering you on, maybe your biggest supporter, you suddenly realize they might have been the one holding you back the entire time. It's such a sinking feeling, right? When you see that the person who was supposed to be in your corner was actually, well, secretly hoping you'd fail. So let's just put the question right out there. That person who's always smiling, always congratulating you, could they secretly be working against you? I know, it's a really tough thought to entertain, but it's one we kind of have to think about. Because here's the thing about real jealousy. It's sneaky. It almost never shows up as obvious hate or anger. Nope, it wears a mask. It disguises itself as an innocent question, or as friendly concern, or hey, even as just a joke. And that's what makes it so incredibly hard to spot. But today, we are going to pull that mask right off. We're going to talk about a simple but super powerful filter that helps you see what's really going on. It all comes down to 3 specific questions that, when you hear them, should set off a little alarm bell in your head. These are the questions that expose what's really hiding behind that friendly smile. All right, let's dive in. And remember, this isn't about pointing fingers and starting fights. Just think of these questions as clues, little red flags that help you see what's really going on under the surface. Let's start with the first one. So this first question is really tricky because it often sounds like they're impressed, almost like a compliment. But you have to listen really close because the subtext, the real feeling behind the words, that's what tells you everything. How did you even do this? Now, the tone here is absolutely everything. A real friend asks this because they're genuinely inspired. They want to learn from you. But a jealous person? They ask it with this hint of disbelief because they literally can't wrap their head around the idea that you, of all people, achieved this. And this is what's so fascinating. When they ask this, they aren't actually looking for an answer about your hard work or the late nights or your strategy. No way. They are hunting for an excuse. They're hoping to hear that it was just dumb luck or you knew somebody, anything that lets them write off your achievement so they can feel better about themselves. All right, so if you thought that last one was subtle, this next one is a masterclass in disguise. This one comes wrapped up in a package of care and concern. It sounds like they've got your best interests at heart. Don't you think you're working a bit too much? Have you ever heard that? And think about when you hear it. It's always right when you're hitting your stride, right? Just when you're finally getting some real momentum on a goal that means the world to you, that's when this concern seems to pop up. And this just lays it all out, doesn't it? What they're saying is, I'm worried about you. But what they often mean is, your ambition is making me feel insecure, and I need you to slow down so I don't feel left behind. See, a true friend wants you to rest so you can keep going. A jealous person just wants you to stop. Okay, but this one is often the one that stings the most. It's not about what you've done or how hard you're working. It's a direct shot at who you're becoming. It is by far the most emotionally loaded of them all. And that brings us to question number 3. This one's a classic, and it's a direct attack on the very idea of your personal growth. Why have you changed so much? You usually hear this one when you really start leveling up your life, when you start setting boundaries, when you say no to things that waste your time and you get laser focused on your goals. Suddenly, you're not available 24/7 anymore, and oh, they notice. So here's the real translation. When they say you've changed, what they really mean is you've grown. The old you was easier for them, more convenient, less of a challenge. Your new self, your upgraded self, it threatens that old dynamic. Your success basically holds up a mirror to them, and they don't like what they see. So we've gone through the big 3. But before we talk about what to do, I've got a bonus question for you. And honestly, this one is the ultimate giveaway. It's a wild psychological trick that jealous people use, and they might not even know they're doing it. It sounds like they're on your team, right? They lean in, all confidential, and they say something like, "Don't you think some of your other friends are jealous of you?" They make themselves out to be your trusted confidant, the only one who sees the truth. But there's a huge twist. And this is why. It's a defense mechanism called projection. And what it means is that the person pointing the finger is often the one feeling that exact emotion. It's like they're holding up a mirror of their own feelings, but telling you it's a window into someone else's. They're warning you about a problem that they themselves are causing.
Okay, so knowing the signs is step one, and it's a huge step. But what do you actually do about it? Well, the goal here isn't to start a big dramatic fight. This is about quietly and calmly protecting your peace and your focus. The strategy is really subtle, and it's a simple three-step plan. First, just observe. Pay attention. Who actually celebrates you, and who always questions you? Second, validate your own gut feeling. You can almost always feel the difference between someone who's genuinely happy for you and someone who's just faking it. Trust that feeling. And finally, step three, distance. No big blow up needed. You just silently and gradually create a little space. Reallocate your precious energy to the people who truly fill your cup.
And that leaves us with one final thought. Now that you know the signs, now that you can hear the real meaning behind these questions, who comes to mind? Who in your life will you decide to spend a little less energy on so that you can invest more of it in yourself?